We're back at the Richmond Coliseum awaiting the second game of our national semifinals this afternoon. Louisiana Tech win over Alabama earlier awaits the winner of Purdue and North Carolina. And tomorrow's championship action begins at 3:45 Eastern Time. Tim Ryan with Ann Myers, Lee Zeidman covering this second game. And, of course, the Purdue Boilermakers, the team that had to beat Stanford out west to get here. Beating Stanford is Stanford, no easy task. The Boilermakers 29-4. And Carolina, a team that knocked off the #1 seed Connecticut in the East to get here as well. These are two teams that somewhat mirror each other both in style and in talent.
They really do, Tim. They're big, they're strong, a lot of rebounding, good defense, big defense by both these teams. They all use a lot of players, so watch them going in and out.
Two outstanding freshmen, of course. Everybody's still talking about Purdue's Leslie Johnson. She is just a freshman at 6'1", 225 pounds.
Well, she's come in and taken charge. She's averaging over 18 points and almost 10 rebounds and shooting nearly 60% from the floor. She is the leader on this team.
Those who have watched her play know that she wears number 34. There's a reason for that, because the man that she says is her basketball idol happens to be wearing the same number. Charles Barkley.
Well, I think that it's definitely a great compliment to me, and I hope they're able to win it.
Well, she's decided that she'd like to take on Charles one-on-one. Here's his reaction.
I'd play her, but I'd beat her because she's a babe. No woman can beat me in basketball.
Well, I wouldn't step off the floor, but I'm sure he could beat me one-on-one.
I think Leslie's only given away the fact that he's a little bigger than she is.
Well, she'd have a chance. He's old, bald, and has a bad laugh.
Well, it's worth a try. Everybody would love to see it. Speaking of freshmen, of course, Carolina has a speedy one in Marion Jones.
Marion Jones, another freshman that's just really come in and has adjusted her game. She's been put into point guard position at 5'10". Never played point, but she is tremendous. Already leads the ACC in steals with 105, and she definitely is a true leader on this team.
Well, like Leslie Johnson, she's known for some other things as well. At the 1992 Olympic trials, she was up there among the very fastest women in the world. And in fact, she finished 4th in these trials. Could have gone to Barcelona, but only as an alternate. She declined, but obviously is pointing at 1996 in Atlanta. And Jones gives them tremendous speed in that backcourt. And that's something that Carolina looks for from her.
They really do. But also another key player to watch is Tanya Sampson. Kodak All-American, but she's got a growing injury. She's been limping around the last couple of days, so we'll see what she's going to play like in this game.
This looks like another exciting matchup. We just saw one completed with Louisiana Tech making it to the final. And we'll be back with this one in a moment.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1994 NCAA women's basketball semifinal game is sponsored by Oldsmobile, official car for the NCAA championships. AT&T, we help put your world within reach. And by Wendy's Spicy Chicken Filet Sandwich. Go wild.
We're back in Richmond, Virginia. The lineups for North Carolina: Stephanie Lawrence and Charlotte Smith, the forwards. Marion Jones and Tanya Sampson are the guards. Sylvia Crawley, the center. For Purdue, the forwards are Tanya Kirk and Leslie Johnson. We've talked a lot about her. Stacey Lovelace, the center. And the guards are Cindy Lamping, along with Jennifer Jacoby. Carolina and Purdue, the winner going on to meet Louisiana Tech. And the coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels, Sylvia Hatchell, and the coach of the Purdue Boilermakers is Lin Dunn in her 7th year with Purdue. And an outstanding career record. Now let's go over to Lee Zeidman courtside.
Tim, both of these teams play similar styles. They like to run, they like to gun. But for North Carolina, they've got two ladies who can dunk the ball. And Carolina coach Sylvia Hatchell has given them the green light. If they get on a fast break, if there's an opportunity, you may see some slamming for the first time in NCAA Final Four women's competition, Tim.
Well, everybody wants to see that, Lee. So far, neither Smith nor Crawley has attempted it in actual play, but they do it routinely in their pregame warm-ups. And my question to you, Ann Myers, would be how much of that is to entertain the fans? How much of that is to intimidate their opponents?
Well, I think a little bit of both. And I think Sylvia Crawley said it best yesterday that, hey, it gets the fans excited. It gets them interested in women's basketball. And Charlotte Smith and Sylvia Sylvia Hatchell has said, the coach of North Carolina, not unless we're up by 20, though.
Well, we'll see if they get to that position. I don't think anybody expects that to happen in this game against Purdue. North Carolina's Tar Heels are 31-2. They finished second in the ACC. They won the tournament with a final victory over Virginia. And this is their 8th appearance in the NCAA championships. Last was a year ago, losing to Tennessee in the semifinals of the Midwest region. The Purdue Boilermakers were the top seed in the West. They have a record of 29-4. They were co-champions of the Big Ten with Penn State, a 16-2 mark in the Big Ten. Lin Dunn in her 7th year, as we pointed out. They have been in the NCAA championships 5 times, and the last time was in 1992. They lost in the regional semifinals to Maryland. So Purdue will defend to our right in their gold uniforms with black trim, and the Carolina Tar Heels in their familiar blue. And it's controlled by North Carolina. This is Tanya Sampson, and she takes the first shot of the game, a three-pointer.
Well, I guess that drawing's not hurting her. She's coming out of 4 games in the tournament, 87 points, 33 rebounds, 16 assists and steals. She has been on fire.
All ACC. She had 30 points against Connecticut. And there's a steal by Crowley. Stephanie Lawrence, and that's rebounded by the Boilermakers, Stacey Lovelace.
Lin Dunn talking to Jennifer Jacoby, calling her over, and Purdue will try and slow things down, keep it in their tempo, because you've got a bunch of racehorses out there with the Tar Heels.
Jennifer Jacoby, recovering from 2 separate knee surgeries, has really been a factor in the last month for Purdue. 20 points against Stanford, the game that got them here to the Final Four. She's a junior from Rossville, Indiana.
Billy Moore, the former UCLA coach, said that Marion Jones is so fast sometimes at point guard she gets hurt because she outruns the ball.
Kirk picks up the first foul off the ball. Tanya Kirk, number 15, a sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio. Carolina ball. 3-0 lead on the three-pointer by Sampson.
Nice pass inside to Smith Crawley.
And Crawley connects.
I don't think Purdue has really played a team with this kind of height and leaping ability that North Carolina has.
Crawley at 6'5", Smith at 6 feet, Lawrence at 6'1".
But Purdue has been beating teams with an average of 29-point margins.
Tanya Kirk, and that's knocked away. Tanya Sampson missing on the layup, and a push called. I believe Tanya Kirk is going to get it, and that's 2 quick ones on Tanya Kirk, the sophomore starter at forward.
Sampson looks like she misses a shot inside and then just doesn't have the legs because of that groin to go up and get the rebound. And Kirk just shaking her head. She can't believe that a foul was called. And I think Sampson just was so tired, she kind of fell forward a little bit.
Officials for this second game here, Sally Bell from Gainesville, Georgia, Sydney Bunch.
The thing is, when Purdue substitutes, Tim, they don't lose much because they have a deep bench. They'll go 10.
Melina Griffin into the lineup with Kirk. 2 early fouls, and Griffin has fouled herself going to the line. Sampson picks up her first. Tanya Sampson, a senior from Clinton, North Carolina. Jacoby in the backcourt for the Boilermakers. Cindy Lamping.
Cindy Lamping just having a great year. She has gone down as far as her points are concerned. She's the leading scorer from last year's team, but she has really adjusted her game for the Purdue Boilermakers to make it to the Final Four.
Turnover by the Boilermakers trying to get it inside, and now a foul down here in Purdue territory.
Well, you're just hoping with these 2 teams, because they are so physical, they are so athletic, that they're going to get a chance to play, and hopefully players won't get into foul trouble, and it really changes the complexity of the game.
Leslie Johnson picks up her first foul, and then rebounds here on the Carolina miss. Jacoby down to Janan Rowland. Rowland shot off the mark, rebounded by Sampson.
You can see Sampson, she's really struggling.
She is, she's hurting. That was real apparent as she came right at our broadcast position. When she tries to run hard, it hurts. Crawley.
Crawley missing a lot of easy shots inside, and that's going to be important because North Carolina has the height to go inside, but you've got to make those shots count.
Lovelace with the rebound. Kobe setting up the Purdue play. Janon Rowland, the freshman from Urbana, Ohio, off the bench in early here for Purdue. And a foul by Sampson, trying to poke it loose from Jacoby.
Sampson, a very aggressive player, and a lot of people have said that sometimes she's too aggressive and she's really intimidating, but she just gives it her all. She said, hey, I play the game hard, and that's the way things are going to happen, but they cannot afford to lose her, North Carolina, even if she does have that growing pull. And she has not really told anybody. We were able to ask her in the interviews the other day, and she was very reluctant to tell us about it.
Well, she's picked up her second foul. Kirk of Purdue has two, so two starters in early foul trouble, one on each team. Blue ball, Leslie Johnson backing in underneath Crawley. And a little follow-away jumper that misses.
Big rebound.
Big rebound underneath by Rowland. And she is fouled. Chance for a three-point play for Rowland.
Good rebound right here, but Janon Rowland being very aggressive on the boards, and Lin Dunn said, coming into this game, we've got to rebound. The team that rebounds is going to win.
Jones picked up the foul, her first. Marion Jones.
Good hustle by Lovelace, keeping the ball alive, going back to the Boilermakers. You know, a lot of people around the country might be aware of these two schools because of their men's programs this year, North Carolina and Purdue, but it's the women's teams that are in the Final Four.
Marion Jones with a loose ball, and Jones hits. 7-2 Carolina lead. The freshman from Thousand Oaks, California. Jacoby sets up the Purdue attack. Lovelace bounces it off a Carolina leg. Purdue will keep the ball.
Well, not good for the Boilermakers because North Carolina creates a lot of turnovers for their opponents. And when you get Marion Jones in the open court, she has a tendency to score. And that's the other reason that North Carolina shoots so well from the floor.
Leslie Johnson's turnaround is short. The ball is out to Jones. Nobody will catch her from behind. Marion Jones, the sprinter, gets an easy one. 9-2 and a 7-point lead for Carolina.
Well, Lin Dunn was telling her players earlier, too, that if Marion Jones gets the ball, you got to let her go in for the layup because you catch, you're going to be so tired, don't get the foul.
Lena Griffin.
Purdue really looking to get the ball inside, but the thing is they're not used to players like a Smith and a Crawley having such long arms. Crawley at 6'5", really deceptive because her arms are extremely long.
Griffin hits. The sophomore from Anderson, Indiana. 9-4. Crawley. One drop for her. Rebounded by Lovelace.
North Carolina getting a lot of shots too, Tim, and that's important for them. They need to get more shots than their opponents because obviously you have more chances to make the basket. But if they can get more shots, even though they miss them, they feel confident.
Rolling to Griffin. Griffin into the paint. Her shot misses. Charlotte Smith comes away for the Tar Heels. Quickly to the corner. Now Crawley's turnaround. Yes. 11-4. 4 points for Crawley. Jacoby sets up the play for the Boilermakers.
Talk about Leslie Johnson wearing number 34 for Charles Barkley. Jennifer Jacoby, Miss Indiana, her senior year in high school, wears number 23 for Michael Jordan.
Johnson missing. Make it Griffin. Griffin with the miss. And a timeout on the the floor with 14:24 to go in the first half. Carolina 11-4.
This is where the Tar Heels are so tough. They get the defensive boards, and boom, goes to Marion Jones. You're out of luck. 11.12 in the 100. You're not going to catch her. Don't try and foul.
And Marion Jones getting I'm sure will be a brief rest on the Carolina bench.
And that tattoo on her left arm is only pretend. One of those takeaways.
That's right. Purdue has some real ones. We'll be telling you more about that. But Carolina has some of those stick-on jobs. And a foul underneath the basket. It's going to be on McKee. Carrie McKee, the junior from Oakland, Virginia, in the lineup for Carolina.
There you see a big tattoo on Tanya Kirk. It's Tweety and Sylvester is pretty mean. Pretty intimidating factor, those tattoos for the Purdue Boilermakers.
They trail by 7. 14:08 to go here in the first half. Looking off for Jacoby, trying for 3 and hits. Jennifer Jacoby, she hits 3-pointers at 42%, and she cuts it 11-7. Sampson is back in the lineup for the Tar Heels. Number 34, Charlotte Smith, starting down the lane, underneath, the feed to Carrie McKee.
Purdue is playing almost a 1-3-1 matchup, a 2-3. It is a matchup zone, and Lin Dunn says half the time we don't know what we're running. We know it's a matchup zone, and North Carolina has been penetrating very well and getting it inside to their post players.
Both teams substituting freely early here, each of them with 2 key players having 2 fouls each. Kirk for Purdue and Sampson for Carolina, but Sampson's back out there. Sampson brings it up court. Into the paint, throws one up.
Just not a smart decision on Tanya Sampson. She just comes into the game and kind of shaking her head, but there were plenty of players to dish the ball off to earlier to get into the offense. I think she just wants to make herself effective right away, and she gets called for her 3rd personal.
A charge taken by Leslie Johnson. 13-7. Purdue ball with 13:05 to go. Jones back in the game for the Tar Heels.
Sylvia Hatchell going to leave Tanya Sampson in the game, and Sampson said she wanted to stay in.
Sampson, Smith, Jones, Crawley. And Lawrence is starting the lineup for the Tar Heels. And a running jumper scored by Tanya Kirk. Back on the floor with her 2 fouls. Jones has the ball poked loose by Kirk. And it'll be Tar Heel ball off the hands of Tanya Kirk.
That's one thing Marion Jones has really worked on is ball handling, because at 5'10", she is not a true point guard.
Sampson goes out.
Tanya Cooper came into the game, and she and Marion Jones are roommates, and you notice they always do things alike. Their hair is braided the same way in the game today.
There's one over to our Dick Bossing, statistician, showing some good hands for his age. Lori Gear in the ball game.
Way to go, Dick.
There's our guy, Dick. Lori Gear, number 32 in the lineup. A freshman from Lennoxville, Quebec, for the Tar Heels. Charlotte Smith, 15-9. Tanya Kirk back the other way for Purdue. And Marion Jones, you're not going to catch her once she gets loose.
Well, it's the defense, too, that create those turnovers. They cause almost 22 turnovers a game against their opponent.
6 points. Kobe's lob pass inside for Tanya Kirk. 4 points for Kirk, the 6'2" sophomore from Cincinnati. 6-point game. Conley keeps it alive, gets it right back from Jones. And Purdue's Janon Rowland comes away with it. It's stolen from her. Jones.
Well, if she's not going to make the 3-pointer, she comes up with a steal and goes in for the layup.
points for the freshman.
She shoots 53% from the floor, a lot of them layups, but she can shoot the three-pointer.
Averaging 14.3 a game. Marion Jones. A push inside.
Charlotte Smith, who leads this team in rebounding for 3 years straight. The cousin, or the niece of David Thompson, hoping that he would be at the game today.
Smith picked up the foul. Shannon Lindsay was the one pushed. We have a timeout on the floor, and we'll be back with 11 minutes to go in the first half.
Talked about Marion Jones being a leader on this team. Her defense is phenomenal. We talk about her speed. Obviously, she's going to get in for a layup, but it's her defense. She now has 106 steals as a freshman for the North Carolina Tar Heels.
6 steals by Carolina. She has 3 of them, and she has 8 points, the difference in the game right now. Shannon Lindsay in the post position, replacing Johnson for Purdue.
The difference in the game, too, North Carolina pushing the ball up court. They're getting the ball inside. Purdue is a team that can go inside, but they like to take the outside shot, and they're having a tough time doing it, even though Jacoby has hit a three-pointer.
Charlotte Smith missing her driving layup. Purdue back the other way. Lamping outside, and it's knocked away by Charlotte Smith. Another Purdue turnover. Smith in the backcourt. Down to Tanya Cooper.
Marion Jones out of the game. You got Charlotte Smith up top. So they really don't have a true point guard except Lori Gear off the bench from Canada, and she's on the bench.
Smith on her follow-up makes it 21-11.
Sylvia Hatchell staying with the bigger ball club. I'm sorry, Gear is out on the floor, but Gear is going to the wing a lot of times, but she's on Jacoby. But you see the defensive pressure by North Carolina forcing Purdue way outside in their offense.
Lamping.
Good backdoor that time by Cindy Lamping. They're going to call an offensive foul.
That's on Shannon Lindsay.
On Shannon Lindsay, that's right. Lin Dunn not pleased with the way her team is running their offense right now, but Charlotte Smith going to the basket. Good presence of mind to stay right there to get the rebound with her leaping ability to go back up for the 2. Very strong rebounder, leads his team in rebounding with almost 9 a game.
Lindsay picks up her first foul. She's in Leslie Johnson's spot. Now Johnson has come back in for Lindsay. Jacoby comes up with a loose ball for the Boilermakers. Kicking it outside, a collision under the basket. Jacoby.
They're going to call
Charlotte Smith in a collision as Jacoby looked like she was going to go up with the ball and then kicked it outside. At that moment, collided with Charlotte Smith.
Jacoby is going 5th gear all the way. She's going for the pass. She knows it. And you see Smith right there, and Smith gets hit. And Jacoby hopefully trying to create something for her team as far as the running game is concerned and get them going.
And they call her for the offensive foul. Smith will get a breather. She took a pretty good shot. Jacoby was going full tilt. And McKee in the lineup to replace her. Carrie McKee, number 13, a junior from Oakland, Virginia. Jones back out there for the Tar Heels. Down to Stephanie Lawrence.
Good movement in the zone by Purdue.
Lawrence won't drop for her. Tar Heels keep it alive. Tonya Cooper.
That's what I like. Sylvia Crawley raising her hands. I miss players not having to raise their hands anymore on foul. It gets us guessing.
Yes, sure. Crawley admitted to that one. A rare occurrence indeed. 9:05 to go. 17 foul on Carolina. So Jacoby will go to the line. Charlotte Smith comes back in. Carrie McKee goes out. Jacoby has 3 points, approaching the free throw line.
Talked about Jennifer Jacoby being Miss Indiana her senior year in high school, along with another Purdue Boilermaker, the big dog, Glenn Robinson.
Mr. and Miss Basketball the same year. The state of Indiana. Crawley hits. 6 points for Sylvia Crawley. Double O, the 6'5" senior from Watersville, Ohio.
North Carolina right now has done a fabulous job on shutting Leslie Johnson out. No points so far in this game. I think she's only taken 1 or 2 shots. There she gets a rebound.
A miss from Lovelace. Second foul on Crawley sends Leslie Johnson to the line.
See Johnson going down low. Just not a lot of movement, but she gets herself in position. Very strong. Just both players going for the ball. Johnson has her first opportunity to get some points on the board. She's the freshman of the year in the Big Ten this year, and only the first freshman to ever make the All-Big Ten first team.
73% free throw shooter. Crawley has 2 personals and 6 down for Carolina. 23-13, a 10-point lead for the Tar Heels.
There's a trap, 3-quarter trap by Purdue. Thing is for North Carolina to try and get rid of the ball before that trap gets there. Good passing.
Kobe got a hand on it, and then diving over to knock it out of bounds, Melina Griffin. And Charlotte Smith getting up a little slowly as another collision right where she was hit by Jacoby on that drive just a few minutes ago.
The minute I say good passing, they kind of throw a lazy pass right here, and they step right in for the defense. You can't take this defense lightly. They're very quick, and they move.
Marion Jones controlling the backcourt now, the freshman. Driving the lane, kicks it over to the right wing, and that shot is hit. Stephanie Lawrence.
Well, that's the key right there, because Lawrence went 0 for 9 against Connecticut. And to get her in the game as far as scoring will open the inside game up even more for the Tar Heels.
McKee picks up her second foul.
Good penetration right here, and that's going to open up the outside, and Lawrence has to be a big-time player for the Tar Heels to hit those outside shots.
Danielle McCulley into the game for Purdue, a 6'3" freshman from Gary, Indiana, averaging 6.2 points a game off the bench of the Boilermakers. At the line, Melina Griffin. She has 2 points. Make it 3. Tanya Cooper comes back in for Carolina. Charlotte Smith goes out. And Lori Gear goes out.
All the substituting, Tim, what it creates, and they've done it all year long, both coaches, is that rest period for their starters and the players that they want out on the floor. Jennifer Jacoby is one of the few players that plays most of the game, if not all of it.
Tanya Jackson is in as well. 3 Tanyas on the Carolina team. How do they keep each other straight? Well, Tanya Jackson is TJ. Tanya Cooper is Coop. Tanya Sampson gets to be Tanya.
She's a senior.
That's right.
Good block.
Good block. That was Janan Rowland getting the hand up. And the other way, Griffin. Melina Griffin. 26-16, back to 10. 5 points for Griffin.
Purdue is a team that can run. Doing a better job right now. The Boilermakers on the boards.
Cooper on the miss. Boilermakers rebounds. Janan Rowland, the freshman, hits. 4 points for her. 26-18.
Crawley and Smith out of the game for North Carolina, so they're not as strong on the boards.
Bad pass from Jones, expecting somebody to arrive at the corner. And we have a timeout with 6:58 to go, first half. 26-18, North Carolina leads Purdue.
Ellie Zeidman courtside. Tattoos the big topic in this second game in the semifinals. Tanya Kirk of Purdue with Tweety Bird Sylvester she's the one who got this team started. Purdue has 4 women with permanent tattoos. Coach Lin Dunn says she'll get one as well, thanks to her team arriving here at the Final Four. The question is, when will she do it? You'll notice some Tar Heels have tattoos as well, but they're a little wimpy. Those are not the permanent kind.
Plus, Lin Dunn said nobody will ever see it, and it'll be the smallest one.
All right, the battle of the tattoos. 26-18, the real game has Carolina on top. 6:40 to go, first half. Jacoby to the corner. Janan Rowland. Jacoby again gets a pick from Kirk. And didn't make the shot clock. Was short with it anyway. And another turnover by Purdue.
Give Purdue credit, even though they don't get the shot off, and Lin Dunn saying, use your heads. We got to see what's happening on that shot clock. This is a team that has no seniors on it. Camping, Jacoby, and Lindsay, and Hildebrand, who does not play that much, are the only juniors. Everybody else are freshmen and sophomores.
Offensive foul is called against Smith, her second. Both of them were offensive fouls by Charlotte Smith. So Purdue gets the ball back with no damage done, having let the shot clock run down on their previous possession. Jacoby gets the play from Coach Lin Dunn. Jacoby to Tanya Kirk. Kirk's jumper is short. But underneath is Janan Rowland, and this freshman is playing with a lot of poise out here. Talking about the youthfulness of this team. Off the bench, Janan Rowland, 6 points and some good rebounding.
Rowland, they say, is one of the best players on this team. She can play the number 2 or 3 position.
Shannon Lindsay, the 6'4" junior, comes in to give Leslie Johnson a breather, and they've been alternating those two.
How good Rowland is as a freshman. She made honorable mention all Big Ten.
Rowland at the free throw line has 6 points. And Rowland hits to make it 26-21, a 5-point margin. Jones and Smith in the back. Bad pass by Charlotte Smith for the freshman Marion Jones. Another turnover by Carolina. That's 5 for them. Purdue has made 10 in this first half. Jacoby watched by Jones. Off to Rowland. Rowland intended for Kirk. Nicely picked off. Cooper. Tanya Cooper, the sophomore from Chattanooga. 28-21.
Talk about the opponents for both these teams. Average about 21, 22 turnovers, but they also each average 19 turnovers because they are up-tempo teams.
Rowland. 9 points. She's a 50% shooter from the field and 42.5 on 3-pointers. Has yet to attempt one of those. One of the outstanding freshmen in the Big Ten.
Good pass by Lawrence.
Dolly. Nice turnaround on the baseline. 30-23, 8 points for Crawley. Jacoby to Rowland. Rowland along the baseline. She's been dangerous in there. 5 points again, the lead.
This Purdue team talked about the size. Both these teams, as far as their size and quickness.
Crawley hits for 3. Sylvia Crawley. Tanya Kirk working on Cooper. Cross-court pass to Rowland. Rebounded by Tanya Cooper. Marion Jones to Cooper. Cooper into the paint. She's fouled.
Well, North Carolina looked a little tired on that possession, but a good defensive rebound, and they kept attacking. I thought it was a smart play in going inside because Purdue had not gotten back yet defensively.
Johnson, Griffin, and Lovelace all coming into the lineup for Purdue. 3 substitutes all at once. Might go Shannon Lindsay. Danielle McCulley. 2 points for Cooper. Still ahead today. Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Duke, the men's Final Four. All coming up on this incredibly exciting day of basketball. Men's and women's national semifinals. The women complete their championship tomorrow. The men, of course, on Monday night. Volley couldn't control the rebound. Leslie Johnson gave her a nice bump. Jacoby comes away for Purdue. 33-25, the Carolina lead. Janon Rowland missing this time, but there to convert it, Stacey Lovelace, sophomore from Detroit.
The thing that's so fun about watching this Purdue team all season long, being so young, they are not intimidated by anybody. Didn't even know they were at the Final Four. They were having so much fun in practices.
Charlotte Smith banks one, 33-27. Leslie Johnson won't go for her. Got out by Charlotte Smith. And Jacoby picks up the foul. Her second.
Nice gesture right there. Say it's my fault. Shaking hands with Smith, not meaning it. The foul, not the handshake.
That's right. 7-team foul on Purdue, so Smith will go to the line, and Jones and Johnson, not Jimmy and Jerry, but two outstanding freshman players battling each other, and Jones with the advantage clearly. 8 points, 3 steals. Leslie Johnson has not been a factor for the Boilermakers so far. Long way to go.
Give credit to the Tar Heels as far as the defense, and she just has not had an opportunity to get the ball. Sylvia Crawley at 6'5" in those long arms has been mostly guarding her, and even when she fronts her, Purdue has tried to toss the ball over her head, and they can't get it to her.
7-point lead for the Tar Heels with 3:06 to go in the first half.
Back at the Richmond Coliseum, coming up at the Pennzoil at the half, Tennessee coach Pat Summitt will join us. We'll have highlights of Game 1, and we will take you to Moscow for the story of some American defections to the Red Army. You don't want to miss it, Tim.
All right, I want to find out all about that. What American would go to the Red Army for what reason? Andrea Joyce knows, and she'll share it with us. At halftime, 35-27. Tim Ryan with Ann Myers, Lee Zeidman here at courtside. Andrea Joyce, Pat Summitt coming along at halftime. 35-27, Carolina lead. Jacoby with the ball for the Boilermakers. The bench has been doing the Purdue scoring. 16 points off the bench. The starters have not been able to crank it up as yet. Jacoby for Melina Griffin. Bounce pass for Leslie Johnson, and Johnson nails one.
Patience by Purdue in running their offense, getting the ball inside to Leslie Johnson.
4 points for Johnson, 35-29. Anya Cooper, and somebody got a hand on it.
Lovelace coming out of nowhere, swatting that away, and we talked about, here's the pass, good patience. There goes to Lovelace. Nice bounce pass as Leslie Johnson is releasing, just rolling to the basket.
Lovelace with a good feed. Had a little Barkley look into it. They call her Baby Bark, and she loves it. We saw in our opening, we hope you did, that Charles Barkley is her basketball idol. She wears his number and wants to challenge him one-on-one.
Well, when she was a little girl, they wouldn't let her go to the park by herself. So she stayed in the backyard and made an imaginary basket in Fort Wayne on the house and pretended to go shoot baskets. And for a year and a half, for 18 months, she did that. And then a neighbor came and put a basket up there for her.
I don't think Leslie was a little girl for very long. I get that feeling.
Good rebound.
Rebound, 3-point try by Jacoby missed, but the rebound is there. Lovelace.
Purdue doing a better job. Even though they've got some starters on the bench, their defense has picked up as far as this 1-3-1 half-court trap, and it's helped their rebounding. 4
points for Lovelace, brought it to a 4-point margin, and that's a turnaround jumper by Carrie McKee, the junior from Oakton, Virginia. Back to 6, 37-31.
Speaking of Moscow, Carrie McKee played 15 games this summer with AIA over in Moscow.
Lovelace missing out the front iron. It's rebounded by Griffin.
Good back door. Good eye contact by Jacoby and Lovelace. And defensively, Cooper just was watching her man and didn't see
Lacey Lovelace, 6 points. Marion Jones down to the corner.
North Carolina getting the quick shot, but no offensive rebounding.
Johnson with it. Off to Jacoby. 37-33. We're in the final minute of the half.
Sampson in foul trouble with 3 fouls. Sat most of this first half, and now Johnson going inside because Sylvia Crawley is out.
Leslie Johnson, 6 points now. It's down to 2. 43 seconds left. Charlotte Smith. McKee, and she's fouled. No, travel. Travel called on McKee. And the Carolina fans don't like that one. A 2-point game, 37.6 seconds left, Purdue ball.
Carrie McKee does a good job getting inside position, and that's what the Tar Heels need. Sylvia Hatchell cheering her team on, but they got to play some defense right now.
8th turnover by the Tar Heels. Boilermakers had 10, most of them early. They've tightened things up. Jacoby's little alley-oop for Johnson, too far. Make it 11 turnovers for Purdue, and Carolina with 21 seconds to work with.
Jennifer Jacoby has really picked up her game. She's being under the tutelage of Michelle Joseph, who is a Kodak All-American under Lin Dunn, is an assistant with her now.
Jacoby 20 points against Stanford. To help get the Boilermakers here to this Final Four. Foul called underneath.
Tough break for Leslie Johnson. Good positioning by Sylvia Crawley down low.
Second on Leslie Johnson.
See Jacoby looking for the back door, says it to Lovelace, who sees it, and you see Cooper just has her back totally turned, and the North Carolina Tar Heel defense cannot help out. When you play aggressive defense like that and overplay, those are the plays you have to look for as far as the back door and setting some good picks.
Tallest woman on the floor is Sylvia Crawley. She's at the free throw line, standing 6'5". She has 8 points and a chance to widen the Carolina lead. 10 seconds, 1.2 left to play. She gets the first. 38-35.
She made the all-tournament team in the ACC tournament and also the East Regional tournament.
Crawley hits them both. Back to 4 for Carolina. Lindsay in the game for the Boilermakers. Johnson out. McKee comes back in for Carolina. Jacoby. Got Johnson underneath. Leslie Johnson.
Griffin just released and nobody picked her up.
Jones lets it fly, but zeros her up. And we have a 2-point game at halftime.
Good heads-up play by Jennifer Jacoby, seeing the whole court with Melina Griffin wide open for the layup.
Make it Griffin, not Johnson, of course. That's the end of the first half with the score. Carolina 39, Purdue 37. Andrea Joyce and Pat Summitt will be along with Pennzoil at the half after this word and a message from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1994 NCAA women's basketball semifinal game is sponsored by Hertz. For business, for pleasure, nobody does it exactly like Hertz. MasterCard, it's more than a credit card, it's smart money. And by Excedrin, the headache medicine.
At the Richmond Coliseum in Richmond, Virginia, 2-point game. North Carolina leading 39-37. And the Boilermakers were down as much as 13. Tim Ryan with Ann Myers here at courtside. And what do they do, as you saw it, that brought them back?
Well, their defense really picked up. They started hitting the boards, too. Lovelace has 9 rebounds in the first half, and their defense has extended North Carolina. North Carolina not getting the ball inside like they were early.
Tanya Sampson spent much of the first half on the bench in foul trouble and hurting a little bit from that groin injury.
Tough call right there because it looks like Marion Jones keeps her feet. She does a little pump fake and get Jacoby up in the air, but you know, there's been some tough calls both ways.
So it is no basket. It's still a 2-point lead. Purdue with the ball and a chance to tie it up. Jacoby running the backcourt inside to Leslie Johnson. The freshman can't hit from there, and then she is pushed. Johnson spent some time on the bench in the first half, too, in favor of her replacement, Shannon Lindsay. Here's a look at what she did from the floor.
Well, you see, she only took 5 shots. She was 2 of 5 from the floor. They need to get her the ball a little bit more.
Another steal at Sampson. And Sampson pushed out of bounds.
And Sampson not pleased with that at all. And I just think that Stacey Lovelace wasn't sure what to do. She was very indecisive, but it's an interesting thing that, I mean, she didn't try to hurt Sampson, but she definitely went right for her, and then she tried to hold her, but I can't believe that she went right at her like that. Why not go for the ball?
Sampson wanted an intentional
and it was.
foul.
It was. I mean, there was no intentions on Lovelace at all to go for the ball. She headed straight for Sampson, and I'm surprised, especially this early in the game.
So Lin Dunn not too pleased with this development to open the second half. They were down by just 2.
Well, North Carolina is a team, too, that scores in spurts because of the kind of athletes that they have. But Sampson, we saw in the very beginning of the game, scored the first basket on a 3-pointer and was really shut down. We think her groin's bothering her a little bit, but she also has 3 personal fouls, and she sat on the bench quite a bit in that first half.
So there's Carolina ball. She made one of the 2. Sampson has it again outside. Watched by Tanya Kirk. And Sampson lets fly.
What a great shot! Wow!
Sampson 42-37. Carolina lead. Knocked out by Marion Jones. Kirk will inbound it for Purdue. Johnson, Kirk, Lovelace, Jacoby, and number 42, Janan Rowland now in for Purdue. The freshman from Urbana had a good first half. This is Rowland, number 42.
Charlotte Smith, one of the best defensive players on this team.
Leslie Johnson from Kirk. Well, that's what Purdue wanted to do from the outset. 8 points. They've had trouble getting it into Johnson to make those kind of plays. Charlotte Smith, number 23, over to Jones, the freshman. Trying for 3, she hits.
Marion Jones, 28% from 3-point range, 20 of 72 coming in.
Jones watching Jacoby. Charlotte Smith.
Good defense by Lawrence picking up. The biggest thing is for North Carolina not to let the ball get inside, and they do exactly that. Charlotte just laid off at Johnson. Johnson now with 10 points.
Lovelace with the feed to Johnson that time. It's a 4-point game. Lawrence up for Sampson. Charlotte Smith. Nice move into the paint. Can't make the shot. Rebound by Lovelace. Jacoby going the distance. And she is fouled by Stephanie Lawrence.
Well, Purdue getting a good defensive rebound, kicking it out, and they pick up the pace. They want to run when they can. And North Carolina is going to have to get back on defense.
First on Lawrence. Jennifer Jacoby, the junior from Rossville, Indiana, at 5'7". As we mentioned at the outset of the game, had 2 knee operations, is now finally fully recovered. But back in her high school days as a senior, she was Miss Indiana basketball, and Mr. Basketball was Glenn Robinson. How did she get to be taller than he was in that picture? There she is at the line. I mean, we know she's 5'7". Whoops, that's how you do it. You just get the chair into the shot there. Jacoby and Robinson. What a run he had in the NCAA tournament for the men's Purdue team.
Well, she knew she was going to Purdue. She's been recruited since she was a very young, tender age of 9.
They describe her as a typical Indiana basketball player. Small town, farm community, everything but the peach basket. It might have been one of those.
Turnovers have really hurt North Carolina.
2-point game.
Good getting back by Carrie McKee. And you see Marion Jones at 5'10", a converted point guard. They don't have the ball handler, a true point guard like a Jennifer Jacoby. And so North Carolina does turn the ball over quite a bit.
Johnson will inbound it. Jacoby, good effort there. Was not a perfect pass by any means. Rowland, this freshman, has played awfully well. This is a very young Purdue team, no seniors. Rowland off the bench. That deflected and gathered in by Sampson, and then it goes out of bounds. It's going to be Purdue ball.
Well, Tanya Sampson just saying, hey, I'm not saying anything.
No, it is Carolina ball.
But Lin Dunn is saying, how can you call that way? And we talked about earlier game as far as Leon Barmore and Rick Moody wearing superstition outfits. Lin Dunn is in her traditional gold and jacket and black dress.
Sampson. Good battle for the rebound. Lovelace came up with it, beating Jacoby. Purdue with a 2-on-2. Jacoby shot no good. Rebound is Tanya Kirk, and she's fouled.
And there's Purdue on the boards.
Third foul on Marion Jones, and Tanya Kirk with a chance to tie it up. Let's go to Lee Zeidman for a report.
Well, Tim, at halftime, Sylvia Hatchell was concerned about the way her team was performing against Purdue's pressure 1-3-1 zone trap. She said they were making a lot of bad decisions, and they hope to fix it at halftime. But as yet, they haven't. They're still having problems with it.
All right, Lee. Sylvia Hatchell in her 8th year at Carolina, 140 victories, 96 losses. Quite a turnaround from just 3 years back. 6 points for Kirk. Here's Carolina at 31-2 into the Final Four.
They tie it up for the first time.
They're tied at 45. And a steal by Jacoby. Quickly ahead to Kirk. Good feed for Lovelace. Boilermakers on top.
When you don't have the ball handlers, you need to get rid of the ball before the trap comes. You don't hold on to it.
Jones got it to Sampson that time with 2 on her. Sampson off the glass.
Johnson trying to get the charge.
Tanya Sampson, 8 points. She averages 17-4 a game, the leading scorer. Remember, she was on the bench in foul trouble in the first half. Tied at 47. Johnson's pass for Rowland.
Good backdoor look by Leslie Johnson at the top. The key to see Rowland cutting to the basket.
Charlotte Smith picks up her 3rd foul.
North Carolina is picking the ball up right as soon as they cross over half court. They need to penetrate a little bit more. You see the trap is right there. They need to get rid of the basketball before the 2 players come on them. Otherwise, Purdue is going to continue to get easy baskets.
Sylvia Crawley's back in for Carolina. Carrie McKee goes out. Sampson collided with Jacoby. That's a physical mismatch, but
it's a train coming
Sampson
at you.
that's hurting, and there's Jacoby over to check on her. Now, our guess is that Sampson probably bothered by her groin injury.
They're calling it on Sampson. I can't believe that call right there if that's on Sampson, because she's the offensive player and she's got position going for the ball. Or if they're calling out about, I don't know what that call is, but Tim, that's going to be a tough call for North Carolina.
And a technical call to get.
She's going for the ball. She's got the angle. She's the offensive player. And we'll see when we come back what the officials call.
Timeout, North Carolina.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1994 NCAA Women's Basketball Semifinal game is sponsored by Chevrolet, the cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. Genuine Chevrolet. Domino's Crunchy Thin Crust Pizza. And by Moen Faucets. Buy it for looks, buy it for life.
Well, you see both players going for the basketball, and I just think it's almost incidental contact. Do you call that? I mean, you be the judge at home. You let that play go even though 2 bodies are hitting?
Neither player had possession at the time of the collision, and that appeared to be all it was a collision. But the foul against Tanya Sampson, so she's back on the bench. In for as Tanya Cooper, number 21.
Now it's up for the Boilermakers to take charge. Johnson.
That's the 3rd on Leslie Johnson.
And not the kind you want as an offensive player to get those calls.
We're tied at 47, 15:51 to go. North Carolina and Purdue. The winner meets Louisiana Tech tomorrow for the championship.
Now you see how they pick up the ball as soon as they cross half court? They're not letting them come
for Sylvia Crawley, a 2-point Carolina lead. Cooper, Jacoby, Kirk.
North Carolina in their own zone.
Leslie Johnson underneath. Lovelace, the 5th Purdue player, and
offensive foul on Leslie Johnson. She is trying to get position, making moves down low.
Charlotte Smith slow to get up, favoring her right ankle. Her foot.
Lin Dunn just loves this call right here, but Leslie Johnson does a good job getting the ball down low. Charlotte Smith is on her. She's pivoting. And Smith goes down. And you don't want Johnson landing on you, and that's what happens to Smith. But Smith goes down, too, with the body contact. Lightens a little fake there, but you saw the little shoulder, but it was more in the body. And Smith gets landed on, which doesn't feel too good.
Johnson's 4th personal, 15 minutes. 2 seconds still to go. Marion Jones.
The thing is, against Stanford, Leslie Johnson was in foul trouble most of the game, and this Purdue Boilermaker team really stepped up. Everybody pulled together, and you're going to see Janon Rowland stand on the sideline when she had to go up high and get that ball. These are the spurts that North Carolina scores in and needs to take advantage of. We'll see how their passing is in this. Well, the press is not there, the half-court trap. Man-to-man.
Charlotte Smith. Pass off the hands of Tanya Cooper, out of bounds.
Tar Heel's going to have to do a better job picking up what defenses are being thrown at them.
51-47. Tar Heel lead. Jacoby, Lovelace. Down inside. Cooper, Rowland brings it outside. And court wide pass. Jacoby can't handle. Carolina ball. 19 turnovers now for Purdue. 14 by the Tar Heels.
Has been a sloppy game by both teams.
Charlotte Smith. Marion Jones in the backcourt. Crawley, Cooper, and Lawrence up front for Carolina. Smith driving. 11 points for Charlotte Smith.
3 straight baskets for the Tar Heels. And we see the zone by North Carolina.
Turnover again. Smith the other way. Charlotte Smith won't drop for her. Crawley missed the rebound. Gathered in by Lovelace. Jacoby, and that's blocked. Good job. What an effort by Stephanie Lawrence. Charlotte Smith on a 3-on-1. And Cooper drops it. Tanya Cooper, the sophomore from Chattanooga, 4 points for her. 55-47 now. Lin Dunn wants a timeout. Beautiful block here. That is Stephanie Lawrence. The all-time point scorer is on the bench for North Carolina with 4 fouls. Tanya Sampson.
Just a great career at North Carolina, 3-time All-ACC, and was not Player of the Year this year. Jessica Barnes, Clemson, not taking anything away from her, but Tanya Sampson this year was just incredible. Kodak All-American.
So Sampson in foul trouble early, playing with a sore groin. On the bench again with 4 personals, and Lisa Johnson, of course, had her problems in the earlier game for Alabama. The other Kodak All-American with Sampson, announced officially yesterday. She was injured, played gamely, had 14 points, but in the losing cause. There's Sampson's numbers. Marion Jones at the line for Carolina. They lead by 8, 12:56 to go.
You know, yesterday when Sampson was announced as an All-American, and they had the All-Americans all get up and get their awards, and Gina Ariyama from Connecticut was doing the announcing, and Tanya moving real slow with that growing pull. And I said, boy, I sure wish you'd move that slow against us. 30 points and 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 6 steals in that game.
Marion Jones failing to convert on either free throw. And freshman, she just seems so relaxed out there for a freshman. She will make some mistakes, but she just seems to love being here.
Well, when you have international competition, it doesn't matter what sport, because of her track prowess, I mean, that gives you the attitude of not only confidence, but being calm going up against good competition.
Tanya Kirk for the Boilermakers. Jacoby. Lamping. Kirk lets fly for 3, and that's off the iron. Gathered in by Jacoby. Inside now for Shannon Lindsay, and she travels.
Yeah, I'd say get the suitcase on that one.
22 turnovers by Purdue. Jones will bring it up. Charlotte Smith. And Jones drives the lane and comes up with 2.
Wow, did she get to the lane quick?
15 points. She's over her 14.3 average. Kobe. Kirk back for Shannon Lindsay. Lindsay into Leslie Johnson.
This defense that North Carolina has gone into this matchup zone has really kind of thrown Purdue off a little bit. You got Crawley on it, going to the outside on those wings with those long arms.
Lamping hits for 3.
Her first points is a basket.
Ball game.
Oh, ball game, basket.
The junior from Hamburg, Indiana. Charlotte Smith, yes. To 50, 13 points for Charlotte Smith.
Great penetration right here to the left side. She sneaks back underneath, little alley-oop right there, and it goes in for her. And here we see Jones kind of losing the ball a little bit. Is it a double dribble? But she picks it up, goes inside, and the Purdue defense can't get over quick enough.
Third foul on Lovelace. Charlotte Smith at the line, trying for the 3-point play, couldn't come up with it. Carolina rebounds. Jump ball call. Possession arrow belongs to Carolina.
Good hustle by Tanya Cooper. Michelle Joseph, a Kodak All-American in her day, when they also had Joy Holmes. Probably the best year that Purdue had an opportunity to get there in the Final Four.
Joseph now an assistant on Lin Dunn's staff. And a foul called. It'll be Purdue ball. Fouls on Cooper, Tanya Cooper. There's Michelle Joseph, assistant coach.
Well, the kids really respect her too, Tim, not only for obviously for what she's done as a player, but how hard she works as an assistant coach and really dictates things out there. And as hard as she works as a coach, that makes the kids work even harder also.
Tanya Kirk underneath to McCulley. And it's taken away by Cooper. Tanya Cooper. McCulley and Rowland joining Jacoby, Lindsay, and for Purdue. Smith, 15 points for Charlotte Smith, an 11-point Carolina lead. They led by 13, their largest lead, and it was tied at 47. But they've opened it up here with 10:38 to go.
Tar Heels, a team that scores in spurts, and they definitely have coming out in this timeout when it hits 16:05. Leslie Johnson going to the bench with 4 fouls, but she's coming back into the game.
Lin Dunn with 10:35 sends Johnson back in there. 10:35 to go. Marion Jones misses. Smith follows. 17 points. Charlotte Smith with a lot of verve here in this second half.
You can see why she's led this team 3 years in a row in rebounding.
Crawley knocks down the pass. Carolina controls. Another Boilermaker turnover. 13-point lead. Smith. She's on fire. 19 points. 15-point Carolina lead. Jacoby gets some words from Lin Dunn for this offensive possession.
Well, what's so hard about this North Carolina team, also Purdue, is that there's so much balanced scoring.
Rowland for Leslie Johnson.
Great passing by the Boilermaker.
That's Lovelace from Johnson. 10 points for Lovelace. Jones to Charlotte Smith. 5 in a row from the field for Charlotte Smith.
That's a heads-up play by Marion Jones. Talk about confidence and leadership, being aware enough to know that Charlotte Smith is the player right now to go to.
Court wide to the corner for Rowland. Lovelace, Jacoby fakes the 3 and then feeds Leslie Johnson.
Good penetration by Jacoby.
12 points for Johnson. 67-54, 8:38 to go. Tanya Sampson getting up and ready to come in for the Tar Heels. Jones for Charlotte Smith. Her 3-point try in and out. Jacoby penetrating. Won't go for her, and Crowley rebounds.
And as tired as North Carolina is, Marion Jones is just huffing and puffing. She wants to come out. But the thing is, that was a perfect opportunity for them to keep the pressure on Purdue, but they are so tired.
Crowley on the feed from Smith. 14 points. Carolina's Tar Heels, 31 wins, just 2 defeats. Trying to get to the championship game against Louisiana Tech. Winners over Alabama earlier. Jones racing down. No basket, travel called.
I don't think he could, even the official kept up with her.
She took Sydney Bunch right out of the court into the seats.
Get out of those starter blocks.
Marion Jones can motor. We've got a timeout. 7:41 to go. 69-54 Carolina. Well, Charlotte Smith having a brilliant second half for Carolina. Here's a sample of 4 in a row that she hit.
She's been strong inside, not only when she gets the ball, but look at that rebound, a 29-inch vertical. She doesn't need to dunk. Not when you're making shots like that. Good timing on the rebound.
21 points, 6 rebounds. Of course, she missed the Vanderbilt game in the tournament after a minor punch-up in the game against Old Dominion. Got her suspended for a game.
Only 50 seconds left in that game, too. And it was just something that happened in the game. She just hopes that people don't remember her for that. I don't think so. She's too
not off this game.
No.
We're just seeing what a great basketball player she is. And it was really not much of a big deal. 42 points from the Carolina front court. And remember, Leslie Johnson sat out much of the first half in foul trouble, as did Tanya Sampson of Carolina. But they have missed Johnson underneath. That's a big part of their game. She's got 4 fouls now.
Johnson averages almost 19 points and 10 rebounds a game. Her career high so far, 34 points she's had this year against Vanderbilt.
Raleigh missing, rebounded by Lamping. 69-54, 7:07 to go. Tim Ryan with Ann Myers, Lee Zeidman at courtside. Rowland. Won't drop for her. Knocked out of bounds. Off the hands of a Boilermaker.
Well, Lamping was in there to get the rebound. Just bad timing with the ball bouncing. And timing right there. A little nervous by Lin Dunn. And we see the half-court 1-3-1 trap coming up. See how North Carolina handles it this time. Good penetration.
Sampson off for Qualley. Rebound knocked out of bounds by Lovelace.
Qualley missing quite a few easy shots inside during this game, but she has been a big player defensively. Hit some key buckets early. And those long arms of her.
Sylvia Hatchell won one of the Coach of the Year awards.
It's a great out-of-bounds play. You don't see too many teams do that, but because of Sylvia's long arms and her height at 6'5", they're able to just lob it into her.
There's Coach Hatchell in her 8th year, 140 wins, 96 losses.
Nice play right there, and you're going to see Rowland or Lamping, both of them right there.
So Crawley at the line for the Tar Heels.
Well, she's happy she's playing basketball. She always wanted to be a cheerleader. And she grew about 3 or 4 inches, and her dad said, I don't think so. And they didn't pick her on the team. And she'd been the captain of the cheerleading team the year before, and they wouldn't pick her. So she got into basketball. And I know North Carolina and Sylvia Hatchell is happy she did.
Rebounded by Lovelace. Boilermakers need a run. 6:30 remaining regulation time. Jacoby to Rowland. Rowland's pass for Lamping. Lamping up and in. Cindy Lamping. 5 points for her, the junior from Hamburg, Indiana. Jones gets by Jacoby, and Jones in and out. Rebounded by Lovelace.
Those are the shots that are tough for North Carolina because they're only getting 1 shot at the basket. Purdue coming down.
Lamping puts it up.
And they got their run going. This defense, North Carolina is breaking it, but then they're only getting 1 shot at the basket.
Sampson. Purdue rebound. Rowland off for Jacoby. Carolina going cold. 69-58. 5:24 to go.
Good back door. Again,
Lovelace.
Jacoby and Lovelace watching each other, and the defense not seeing where the ball is.
9-point Carolina lead.
They got their run going, Tim, just like you called it.
Sampson bothered by Jacoby. All the way to Lawrence. She misses. Sampson follows. Won't drop for her. Crawley can't control it. There's a foul. It'll be Rowland for pushing Crawley.
Here you see Jacoby just setting things up. Lovelace comes to the top, and Smith, she sees the ball, but Lovelace just too quick cutting back on the back door, and no weak side help.
17 foul on Purdue. Crawley at the line. McKee comes in. Charlotte Smith goes out. What a second half she's had.
Crawley's going to the free throw line, but I tell you, that was a big rebound by Tanya Sampson because 3 trips down the floor last time. North Carolina did not convert, only had 1 shot at the basket, and for them to get an offensive rebound helps their confidence.
Crawley makes it 71-60. 16 points for Sylvia Crawley, the senior from Wintersville, Ohio. Lamping in the corner for Leslie Johnson. Missed it.
Well, that's the way things kind of have been going for Purdue, even though they put that run together. Bad pass by Marion Jones. I think it was just miscommunication. She thought Sampson was going to release and go to the baseline. But 18 out of the 29 game wins for Purdue, they have won by margins of 21 points.
Boilermakers have beaten Radford, Washington, Texas A&M, and Stanford to get here. Smith back in the game. McKee goes out for Carolina. Carolina beat Georgia Southern, Old Dominion, Vanderbilt, and top seed Connecticut. And they lead by 11 here, hoping to face Louisiana Tech tomorrow afternoon for the national championship. Lin Dunn hoping her team can come back here with 4:20 to go, down by 11. Jones with a steal, and Marion Jones, the track star, Missing the layup, but picks up the foul. Jacoby, her fourth.
I give Jennifer Jacoby a lot of credit on that because Jones was going, and on the left side of the court, Jacoby said, hey, it's do or die now. You can't give up. And she wasn't going to let her beat her this time. They bump a little bit. Jones not real good at handling the ball with the left hand, and you see Jacoby behind, but she goes for the ball. But look at how strong Jones is. She misses the layup, but still to get the shot off. Jones, a 74.5% free throw shooter, is 0 for 3 from the line.
Talking to herself there. She might be running out of gas a little bit, Jones. She's put on a lot of miles on those sneakers. Here's Jacoby the other way.
Well, Jennifer Jacoby just loses the handle on the ball, but Stephanie Lawrence right there, the officials think that she gets a hand on it.
Purdue ball. Lamping for Leslie Johnson underneath. 14 points for Leslie Johnson. Desar controller territory there to get that shot up from underneath the basket. Tanya Simpson. 10 points for her.
North Carolina looked very relaxed, breaking the press that time.
Kirk all the way to Lamping. Lamping's jumper won't drop. Rebound by Charlotte Smith. Sampson, nice move underneath. Tanya Sampson went right through Stacey Lovelace. A little head fake. 12 points for Tanya Sampson.
Tanya Sampson with 4 fouls as a senior, playing very, very smart.
Kirk for Lovelace. Lovelace gets it back.
Lovelace has been tenacious on the board. Big block by Crawley, but Lovelace going down on the ground. They need to call a timeout. It's right in front of the officials, and nobody has seen it. Finally.
Lovelace may have gotten poked in the face. Everybody up for that ball. Been a rough day here in women's basketball in Richmond. First game, a number of injuries. None of them real serious.
Ankle.
And it looks like it is her ankle, apparently. 2:52 to go with this timeout. 75-62, Carolina in the lead.
Lee Zeidman courtside as the Purdue medical staff is trying to assess Stacey Lovelace's condition. Apparently just an ankle sprain. Remember, whoever wins here is going to take on Louisiana Tech. 2 Techsters injured today. Amy Brown and Kendra Neal, both sprained ankles. They don't know if either will be able to play tomorrow, but the coaches say both of them are tough, and if there's any way they can play, they will. Tim?
Thank you, Lee. Janan Rowland hit for 3 to cut it to 10. With 2:42 to go, North Carolina in command, but there is more than 2.5 minutes to go.
Stacey Lovelace, 12 points and 15 rebounds, a career high. She has been so strong on the boards for the Boilermakers in this game. The defense has made a difference bringing them back, but she's been a key on the boards.
Jones at the line for Carolina. And the freshman connects. 75% free throw shooter. "17 points for Marion Jones.
Big difference, too, in the second half that Sylvia Hatchell has gone into the zone. She did it against Vanderbilt. They were down by 10, and it really brought them back. Obviously, winning that game, but this matchup zone has done a lot of good for them.
Steal by Sampson from Lamping. Tanya Sampson. 79-65, and the celebrations are probably not premature down in Carolina land. The Tar Heels appear headed to the championship game tomorrow against Louisiana Tech, winners earlier over Alabama. Lovelace has come back into the game. Another gritty display. We've seen several of those today. Nisa Johnson for Alabama playing hurt all day, and several other players injured in their games coming back. Lovelace wants to be in there to try and salvage it here with 2:06 to go. The Boilermakers up against it.
Tanya Sampson having to come back, and the second half has 11 points.
Early foul trouble for Sampson. That's Rowland, the freshman, driving, missed the shot, and it's Charlotte Smith coming away. And Smith travels with it, trying to pick the ball up for her pass.
They were looking for the dunk. You knew they were. Sylvia Crawley out on the wing, and Charlotte Smith saw her, wanted to go get the basketball, and just lost control.
Crawley and Smith are the two dunkers on this team. They have not done it in a game. They do it in the warm-ups. Look at Marion Jones. She's just having fun out there, smiling and talking, and it's a freshman. You've got to admire the flair she has and the confidence she plays with.
And that's helped the poise on this team, even with the seniors and juniors they have.
Foul called on Purdue. That is Lovelace, her fourth. Tanya Sampson will go to the line. Sampson among those playing hurt. Started this game playing hurt. It might have been just as well that she had some foul trouble that had her on the bench, so she hasn't had to go all out here in this game. Lovelace coming out, and she's limping to the Purdue bench. And we have a timeout with the score. Carolina 79, Purdue 65. We're only midway through our basketball action today. The Final Four show will follow our events here from Richmond at the Coliseum, and then the men's Final Four semifinals, Arizona, Arkansas, followed by Florida and Duke. Game one tips off approximately 5:42 Eastern time. And the North Carolina Tar Heels may be out of the men's tournament, but their women appear headed into the championship game. Jacoby followed by McCulley for Purdue. Cuts it to 12. Press immediately on Sampson, all tied up, and she's fouled.
Well, this is the thing, even with a minute 21 left to go, that as players, yeah, you're going to go to the free throw line. You know you're going to get fouled, and the clock is going to stop. But I would think that you would try and get the ball and move it as quickly as you can. Try and get the ball down the court and not just hold it. Stacey Lovelace, just ankle, I'm sure, bothering her. Tanya Cooper came in and did a great job coming off the bench for the Tar Heels.
Sampson, 15 points. $15 turnovers by Purdue in this second half, obviously costly. Leslie Johnson, 14 points, but they were never able to get the game plan the way they wanted it. To Johnson inside. Kobe hits for three. 81-70, 112 still to play. Marion Jones foul before she gets the ball off. And it looks like it'll be Rowland. Three on Rowland with 1:04 to go.
And I was talking to Sylvia Hatchland, asking her about the t-shirt that the kids wore in practice yesterday, and it said, offense sells tickets, defense wins games, rebounds wins championships. And obviously they're going to go to the championship game. She goes, oh, well, that's just one of the t-shirts we have. We have about 4 or 5 sayings.
Marion Jones missing on the free throw. Crawley's follow-up missed, and there's another foul against Purdue. Well, Carolina, 8th trip to the NCAAs, lost last year to Tennessee in the Mid-East semifinals. Mired at the bottom of the ACC for a number of years, and quite a turnaround these past 2 seasons. Sylvia Hatchell has brought them back, and here they are headed into the championship game tomorrow. They will be 32-2 going in against Louisiana Tech, and they knocked off the top seed Connecticut in the East to get into this Final Four in Richmond.
I tell you, Sylvia Hatchell has really done a tremendous job at North Carolina. Her first 5 years, In the ACC, they were 19 and 51. They were 65 and 78 overall. Just struggled. And then in the last 3 years, overall 76 and 18. Only lost 18 games in the last 3 years.
22 points for one of the women who has made that possible, Charlotte Smith. This season, Shelby, North Carolina, averaging 15-2 a game. What an exciting basketball player to watch, Charlotte Smith. 83-70, another foul down deep as we're into the final minute. 52 seconds left to play. Tar Heels will go to the line again. This will be their 13th victory in a row, the first time they've ever been in the Final Four. And their 32 victories, the most ever by the North Carolina women's team.
Well, it was a conference that was down a little bit. Virginia and Maryland have always been the two top teams that have kind of been the stronghold there, and Virginia was the only team that beat North Carolina this year. As a matter of fact, Marion Jones did not even receive Freshman of the Year in the ACC. That went to Tora Suber, the freshman guard for Virginia.
Stephanie Lawrence hits from the free throw line. She's got 4 points. It's been a great run for Lin Dunn's Boilermakers. They'll finish 29 and 5 for the year, the top seed in the West region of the NCAA tournament, co-champs of the Big Ten. They can feel good about making the Final Four. Leslie Johnson will see so much more from her. Colorful, talented basketball player, just a freshman from Fort Wayne, Indiana. 16 points for Leslie Johnson. 40.7 seconds to play. We'll be right back. Well, here's how it looks. North Carolina headed into the championship game against Louisiana Tech tomorrow, 3:45 Eastern Time here on CBS Sports. An 85-72 lead for the Tar Heels of North Carolina. They have just been too much today for the Purdue Boilermakers.
Well, Purdue really made a gallant effort, especially when they tied it at 45 and then took the lead at 47, the only time they led.
A 12-point run by Carolina in a 3-minute span in the second half broke it open, and they haven't been threatened since then. 40.7 seconds remaining, and these end-of-games fouls and timeouts don't seem to really make a lot of sense when you have this kind of a margin.
Exactly, and I think kids are so geared into that because usually in close games they do that, but when the game is 40 seconds left and you've got this kind of lead, you've just got to go back and play good defense instead of stop dragging things out.
Burke and Sampson with a few laughs for each other. Here's Marion Jones, and the freshman just flying down the floor, takes the long pass, and she's an excited youngster. 87-72.
Well, they're like, if the Boilermakers want to keep the time on the clock, they'll take advantage of it.
Boy, there is a joie de vivre this youngster has. There she is, the sprinter. You'll probably see her in Atlanta on the U.S. track team, 100 and 200 meter runner. What a talented athlete. You think about athletes out here, I mean, my goodness, Sampson, obviously, Charlotte Smith, and Leslie Johnson, a 225-pound athlete because she's so quick. She's got great hands and feet. Many others, it's been a treat to watch them all in action here today. And there's a foul by Jacoby, and there's, again, a gamester. That's her fifth, and she's out of there with 31.1 seconds left. A young woman they've given great credit to for really firing up Purdue, coming back from 2 knee injuries.
And probably the first year that she got to play without rehabbing or any pain, and a tough loss for Jennifer Jacoby. She's going to be back, though. Only 8 points in this game. It's really tough to get on track, but she'll be back with these Boilermakers.
Just a junior from Rossville, Indiana. They take their basketball seriously in that state. Sampson at the line. Kirk up for it for the Boilermakers. Lamping, remember there are no seniors on this Purdue team, so they can all go away from here saying, hey, we had a terrific season, and we should have a terrific team again next year. We're not losing anybody.
Well, North Carolina loses Sylvia Crawley, 6'5", and Tanya Sampson, and they've got a junior coming into the game, Gwendolyn Gillingham at 6'7", Heidi Gillingham's sister from Vanderbilt.
Also, Kim Rouse gets in, and Jill Sudreth. Jill Sudreth, a junior. Kim Rouse, a sophomore. Sudreth from Granite Falls, North Carolina. Rouse from Wilmington, North Carolina. So they'll get a few seconds of Final Four time, if not more, tomorrow in the championship game. Rouse for Gillingham, and Gillingham gets a couple of points, left alone. The 6'7" junior forward. Andrea Hildebrand, a junior from Bourbonnais, Illinois, and for Purdue, 89-74, and that's it. The Tar Heels of North Carolina into the championship game against Louisiana Tech's Lady Techsters tomorrow here on CBS Sports. Brilliant display by North Carolina. Fine effort by the Boilermakers of Purdue. Again, remember, they have no seniors. They will be loaded again next year. And no doubt, they'll not only be in the tournament, but will go some distance once again. The Chevrolet players of the game are Charlotte Smith, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists for North Carolina. Jennifer Jacoby, 5 points and 8 assists, the floor leader for Purdue. A check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated to each college's general scholarship fund. Let's go to Lee Zeidman.
I'm here with Sylvia Hatchell, the coach of the Tar Heels. Sylvia, not long ago, you guys were the last place team of the ACC and climbed all the way into the championship final. How did you accomplish that?
Just great kids, a lot of hard work, and a great coaching staff.
Now, early in the game, you guys were blowing Purdue out. Then they changed to a trap zone that gave you a lot of fits, even into the second half. How'd you solve it?
Well, we just we played a little better as a team. We penetrated, and we made some better passes, found the open people a little bit better.
Well, 23 points for number 23 today. Tremendous performance.
Thank you. Well, today, you know, early in the game, I wasn't hitting my shots, and I just started penetrating and taking advantage of the opportunities, and my shots started falling. And so, you know, it's the thing that, you know, I want to commend everybody, the people on the bench, and, you know, he really did a great job.
Now, you had a chance to see Louisiana Tech. They're a rough and tumble team, very physical. What do you expect tomorrow?
It's going to be a great game. A lot of great athletes. I thought their guards were outstanding.
Well, we're looking forward to Sunday's championship final. That's it from the floor. Let's go up to Andrea Joyce.
All right, that's it. It's Louisiana Tech and North Carolina in the championship game tomorrow. So for Ann Myers, Tim Ryan, Lee Zeidman, Pat Summitt, I'm Andrea Joyce saying so long from the Richmond Coliseum. Coming up next.